Hey guys, welcome to this video where Linux interview questions are answered. These are the frequently asked questions. I have not posted any videos since long time, but I'll be posting all the answers in this video. I'll try to keep the video short and informative. So what I have decided is I'll make 10 videos with 5 answers each, because I thought doing 50 answers in a video would be too long and perhaps boring. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. The first question was difference between RHEL 6 and RHEL 7. In that case, I have distinguished both the versions. Here I have mentioned 10 points, out of which you can, even if you remember 5 points, that is more than enough for you. Uh, like default file system that was used in RHEL 6 was ext4, and the default file system used in RHEL 7 is extended file system, that is XFS. Kernel version, you can mention the kernel version. 2.6 was used in 6 RHEL 6, and 3.10 is used in RHEL 7. The third point can be asked as a separate question as well. Which is the first process that starts when a system boots? So the answer is init in RHEL 6 and system D in RHEL 7. The process ID is 1. There are run levels in RHEL 6, and same run levels are called as targets in RHEL 7. Each run level has its own use, like run level 7. If you enter init run level init 0, the system is halt. Then you have single user mode, then 2, run level 2, 3, 4, not huge, not used much, and we have run level 5. It's a graphical user interface, and run level 6 is a reboot. Similarly, we have run level 0 target, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. They all have same uses. We come to the next page. Here we have file system check. For checking the file system, we had in RHEL 6 E2FSCK, and wherein we have XFS, extended file system, in RHEL 7. You can tell the bootloader version 0.97 and grub2 in RHEL 7. System and service manager upstart, system and service manager is system D in RHEL 7. The default firewall that is used in RHEL 6 is IP tables. The default firewall that is used in RHEL 7 is firewall D. Network bonding. Network bonding is nothing but we are teaming, we are collaborating two network interfaces so that there is high availability, redundancy, which I have already explained in my last video. And in 7 it is known as teaming. Cluster resource manager. In 6, cluster resource manager is called as RG manager, and in 7 it is called as pacemaker, although both functions in a same way, but the names are different. The name, there's a difference in the name. Default database in RHEL 6 is MySQL, and in 7 it is MariaDB. Okay. Let's come to the next question. Hardening. What is hardening? Hardening is the process of securing a system by reducing its surface of vulnerability. Vulnerability is nothing but when your system is at risk. Risk when somebody can enter your system and do whatever they want. So to avoid that, your system may have unused ports, services, or useless software running that may create a weak point in your system. So these weak points may be used by others to enter into your system. System hardening is also called as operating system hardening. This will help to minimize such type of security vulnerabilities. and it is a process of removing all non-essential software programs and utilities from the computer. I have also mentioned some of the examples. Netstat TULNP, this is something related to network statistics, and the flags or options that are used is nothing but TCP UDP list network protocols or ports. So this is how you check the open ports, and the ports which are not required you can simply close those ports, and always use a secure shell to take a session of your system. And it is recommended to use a higher port. Usually SSH secure shell uses port number 22, but it is recommended to use some other port, which can be done by going into with the help via editor, going into the SSH d config, that is the SSH configuration file. Disable root login. It is also recommended that you should not use a root login and create some other user and provide admin privileges to that user and use it with the sudo command. That also can be done using the sshd config file. You only have to mention permit root login as no. Keep system updated. Always keep your system updated so that any security bug fix or enhancement packages which are available will keep your system updated. And if your system is updated, you have a proper security to your system. If it's a physical server, then you better be avoid USB stick connection to your physical system, which can be done by creating a file in mode prop d, that is no USB, and writing this command into that file: install USB storage /bin/2. Turn on SE Linux. SE Linux is nothing but the security enhanced Linux, the default security for Linux system, a compulsory access control security mechanism provided in the kernel. Disabling SE Linux means removing security from your system. And SE Linux has three basic modes: enforcing, permissive, and disabled. This is default mode, which enable and enforce the SE Linux security policy on the machine. Permissive. SE Linux will not enforce the security policy on the system. What it will do is it will only warn and log the actions. Disabled means your security Linux, SE Linux is turned off, which is not a recommend at all. To check the status, what is your status of what is the status of your system, you can simply type this command se status. Okay. Then we have restrict users to use old password. We should remember that nobody should use their old passwords. So in order to do that, we can go into this file and make the desired changes. How to check password expiration of users? So if a user want to check whether my password is, when is my password going to expire, with help of this command it can be checked. And if you want to extend or maximum set maximum number of days, minimum number of days, it can also be done with help of these commands. Okay. And capital M is nothing but the maximum number of days, and small m is minimum number of days. W is the set of number of days of warning. Warning means suppose if after 7 days your passport will get expired, so before that 7 days you will get a warning that you must change your password. Enforcing stronger password, it is recommended to use stronger password with lowercase, uppercase, special characters, numbers, so that it becomes harder for others to hack into your system. So these are some of the points that can be explained whenever you are asked what is OS hardening. I have mentioned here 10 points, but if you are explaining some of the points, like 5 to 6 points, that is also more than enough. So let's come to the next question, that is what is sticky bit? Sticky bit is nothing but a permission that is set on a file or folder. That permission allows only the owner of the file, directory, or the root user to delete or rename the file. So it means no other user is given privileges to delete the file created by some other user. The sticky bit is primarily, if you can see, it is only used on the shared directories, and it is used for shared directories such as where, tmp and tmp, because users can create files, read and execute files owned by other users, but are not allowed to remove, rename or delete those files. Okay, so I've just given an example over here. For example, if there is a user abc, okay, creates a file named uh, inside this folder tmp with his name abc, and there is other user, okay, who cannot delete this file when the temp directory has permission. Even the tmp file or directory has all entire permission, that is 777 read write execute permission. If the sticky bit is set on that, the xyz user cannot delete that file. Okay, a root user and owner of the file can only remove those files. Then we come to SUID. SUID is nothing but set user ID upon execution. It's a special type of file permission given to a file. SUID is defined as giving temporary permissions to a user to run a program or file with the permission of file owner. So it is understood that a user will be given a temporary access on a file to run, who can have the same access or like the owner of the file. To better understand, user will get the file owner's permission as well as his user ID and group ID when executing the file, program or command, whatever it is. Similar thing goes with the group ID. Set group ID upon execution is a special type of file permission given to a file or folder. It is same as giving temporary permission to a user to run a program or file with the permission of the file group. Okay. Then we have access control list. It provides an additional, more flexible permission mechanism for file system. It is designed to assist with Unix file permission. Access control list, what it does, it allows you to give permission to any user or group to any disk resource. For example, if a user is not a member of a created group, but still you want to provide read write access, what in that case what you will do, if you want to provide read write access, you can use these commands, that is set fscl and get fscl. Okay, and here is an example. Set fscl -m is nothing but modify. The u is nothing but the username. You can mention the username and the permission, read write execute, and the path of the file on which you want to give the permission. Same thing goes with the group here. Then we come to the next question, that is what is TCP dump and why it is used. TCP dump is a command line packet sniffer or packet analyzer tool. When something goes wrong with your network, what you will do in that case? In that case, this tool can be used to analyze the network packet that has dropped, or whatever has gone wrong with your network interface card. This tool can be used to analyze. Often you see, if you can see, it is often used to help troubleshoot network issues. It should be used as a root user with, or a user with sudo privilege. So below you will get some examples how it can be. If there is a problem with a specific network interface, you can simply type this command, that is tcp dump -i eth0. ATS0 is nothing but the name of your interface, whatever network interface card name you have, you can just mention it over here. And TCP dump -r packet file. If you have any file to like read, you can just mention the file name and you can read it over here. Similarly, it goes with the IP. If you want to check the particular host, you can mention the host with this command and you'll get the details. Now we come to what is the difference between Apache and Tomcat and how it works. An Apache server is nothing but an HTTP server which can serve any simple HTTP request. And whereas Tomcat is primarily an application server which serves requests to custom built Java servlets or JSP files on your server. These points are mentioned as the differences between both of them, why and what are the uses of these services. Apache is known as HTTPD. D is nothing but the daemon that runs in the background, is a web server, and whereas Tomcat is a servlet container. So in case if you are using a Java technology for making any web application, you will probably use Apache Tomcat. And don't get confused, Apache Tomcat are the owners are owning both of these services, Apache and Tomcat, for a different purpose. So if you are using other technologies like Perl, PHP or Ruby, it is better to use Apache. Okay, Apache server is set up to run through configuration files in which directives are added. Directives are nothing but the things how we want the Apache server to perform. It is there is a configuration file, that is httpd.conf. In those configuration file we mention all the details how our Apache or our HTTP server will work, wherein Tomcat receives the request from a client through one of its connectors. Okay. Tomcat compiles the servlet into Java bytecode, which is executable by JVM, and creates an instance of the servlet. Okay, so these were the differences. So what I have decided is I will be making at least 10 videos with 5 answers each. Okay, and I have kept it as bullet points, so in case if you have interview tomorrow, day after tomorrow, you can just simply have a quick look and revise it. So this was regarding the differences and about the topics that I have mentioned. Okay, so no matter if you don't know some answers, because every company has different requirements and working standards, so it's okay. Yeah, so if you appreciate the video, do click the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel to get more such videos, and also don't forget to hit the bell icon to get the notification. And I will be posting such videos more often now. And yeah, that's all for now. Thank you all. Bye bye.